Yeah, so continuing on, because I didn't have space on this camera, so it cut off at like 23 minutes. But, you know, if a Japanese beetle is, let's say, out of my reach, then I'll just let it be. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go out of my way to go grab a Japanese beetle that's out of my reach. But if it happens to be in my face or in my space at arm's reach, I'm going to crush it. Okay? And I'm going to leave it there as an example for the other Japanese beetles to see. Now, a lot of people would be like, oh, you can't kill, you know, insects and, you know, and all. But yeah, there's, everything is, you see, here's the thing. That's a frequency, okay? And it's a lower frequency. If you're killing bugs and all that, it's just, you're being in a lower frequency, okay? But you balance it out with doing things of a higher frequency. Okay, it's just, everything is balanced here. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how I manage my universe here. You get what I'm saying? Because again, this is my universe that I created out here. All right. And one thing is that I'm not going to destroy all the Japanese beetles, because their food, they are the food for the beneficial insects and for other things that actually come in here. So if I was to eradicate all the Japanese beetles, then I'm limiting my universe. See, the fact that I can leave some Japanese beetles be, then what's happening is that now I am inviting other species into my universe, which is literally expanding my universe, making a huge or a much larger ecosystem. But if something is getting out of hand, then it is up to me, the God mentality, to step in and create the balance. You get what I'm saying? But I don't really have to go too much out of my way, because I've already done the magic beforehand. You get what I'm trying to say? So those are things that, you know, and a lot of the stuff here, I've had to, for example, condition the soil. This was all clay soil. And you know what? A lot of people can, because it really is a really poor quality soil, but it still serves its purpose. You get what I'm saying? It still has nutrients, and certain plants can still grow in that soil, in clay soil. It's just that with what I'm growing, it's considered garbage. You know what I'm saying? It's not anything that I can use. But if I was only using that soil, but you know what I did? See, I mixed my compost, my high quality soil that I've conditioned, everything that I've able, you know, manure. I've actually took some of the clay soil and actually mixed it in there. And the reason why is because it's got nutrients. It's going to balance the pH level, but it also is a little sturdier, so it's not as loose as the soil that you use. You know what I'm saying? But what it does is that the roots can actually anchor to the soil a lot easier if you got a little bit of that clay soil in there, and it actually stays a little bit cooler as well. So that's what earthworms like. And you know, when earthworms, you know, move through that and process that soil, you know, breaking down the compost, they leave their worm castings, which is the black gold, and that's exactly what you want. You know what I'm saying? But what do? You do companion planting, you do a bunch of things that can protect the soil. For one, that's the most important thing, because that sun can really scorch that soil if it's not mulched properly. With plants, you know, I use the low, you know, trailing plants to actually mulch that soil. It keeps a cooler environment to that soil, because if not, it's going to scorch all the beneficial bacteria on that soil, and you don't want that. So you want to keep the soil cool, and you want to keep the top leaves basically bringing in those nutrients. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna make a separate video on the mycelium. But what I do want to talk about on this video is the eye. You know, the eyes are the windows to the soul. You know what I'm saying? And you see, when you look at UFC fighters, you know, they train before a big fight. You know what I'm saying? And they're going on a big stage. Okay? And one of the things I could tell you is that lately, listen, I'm really good at seeing this. And I feel like I've always been really good at seeing this. Is basically seeing when somebody is not sure of themselves or somebody's very sure of themselves. And this is based on experiences. I've gone through a lot of moments in my life where I wasn't sure of myself. I've experienced certain fears where I've held back on things that I've wanted to do and things that I've, you know, didn't do even though I wanted to do them, based on what other people may think or the pressures that come with, expectations that you may have. You know what I'm saying? Some people want to hold you to a high expectation. So for example, that's why I brought up before, if you're killing a Japanese beetle, you're supposed to be a spiritual being and whatnot, but it's all dogma. It's all a program. You know what I'm saying? It's all what you believe. If you believe that, it's wrong, then it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? If you believe that you're here in your universe, then you do what you need to do. You get what I'm saying? A lot of the stuff that we're led to believe that is wrong may be the access to the highest energy that you can possibly have access to here. Okay? But again, there's different paths. And one of the things that I did want to cover in the previous video that I didn't get to cover was there's certain people on different paths. You know what I'm saying? And certain people that you may see that are not as so-called advanced as you are in the way of thinking or in the way of you ritualizing things and whatnot. But these people are not somebody to look down upon. In fact, a lot of people sometimes want to, give the highest level information to a group of people when sometimes just giving it to one person is just as good as giving it to 10,000 people. All right? Because, see, 10,000 people, sometimes they may just be 9,999 zombies. You know what I'm saying? That won't even get that information, and just that one will get it. So you basically just gave it to that one. One of the things that you have to realize is that whoever you're speaking to is basically a version or an extension of you that is in your benefit to, and not to, and you have to understand too, you don't impose on nobody's free will. You don't, invade people's space by trying to indoctrinate them in what you know. But there will be people who may ask, you get what I'm saying? Or you may get into conversation on certain topics about, and it's not in your benefit sometimes to even say what you know. You get what I mean? But you use your intuition and discernment to know if you can open up to certain people or not. You get what I'm saying? Because even to certain family members, it is not in your interest or in your best interest or favorable for you to open up to them. But certain people, you know what I'm saying? You want to look at them as they are actually just a version or extension of you, which is why I make videos. You know what I'm saying? Whoever wants to watch my videos will watch my videos. You know what I'm saying? I'm not forcing you to watch my videos. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like what I'm saying, you just have, see, if you're wise, you would just click off and just not interact. No comments, no likes or dislikes, just leave. The moment you like or dislike something, you need to understand that it doesn't matter what you think of what I'm saying. You are creating an etheric cord of some kind or an attachment to what it is that I'm saying, which is only affecting you. It ain't affecting me. See, before I make any video of mine, my videos are for me, and I say this, which means that whatever ill intention you may have toward what you think I'm saying, okay, it would only affect you. It's not going to affect me, because I really don't care what you think. Again, you're just an NPC, and I don't consent to basically worrying about what anybody says, whether it's good or bad. You need to understand, I've said this before, I appreciate when people leave something positive underneath. It is a positive interaction that I can relate to at the moment. And if it's a negative one, I've interacted with them before too, but not entertained them. Okay? You can entertain me if you want. But realize that it is not affecting me. It is already done where it's not affecting me. Okay? I'm not attached to positive comments or negative comments. If you don't like my videos, you don't have to watch me. You see, that's how much power you have. You could, with a snap of a finger, you can use your finger and just go to the next video or watch somebody else. You get what I'm saying? But you realize that if you are watching my videos, you're here for a reason. Why? That's up to you to find out. You get what I'm saying? That's the beauty thing. Nobody can force you to do anything. Nobody can tell you anything. It's up to you to decide for yourself. Again, nobody outside of me is real. The only thing that's real is me. And in your world, you should be looking at it exactly the same way. I'm not real to you. You're the only thing that's real. Which is why if I'm speaking to somebody else, I will use my energy, okay, to give them guidance, because they're only an extension or a version of myself that needs that nudge. You get what I'm saying? So if I'm able to wake them up, okay, and I don't even like to say the word wake. We're all awake. You know what I'm saying? Is what level of consciousness do you actually have? Okay? Because you could walk around your day and trip on something and you're awake. It's just that you weren't conscious of what you tripped on. But when you're conscious of it, what do? You walk over it. But if you're not conscious of something that you tripped over, it's because you weren't conscious of it. Okay? Yet it was there in your reality. Because all the other versions of you recognize that what you tripped on. So it's really no big deal. Everybody takes this game personal, but it's not personal, it's just business. So it's an emotional game. It really is. But the key to this is just to maintain your emotions under control. You use these emotions to your advantage, if anything. But it's not to let them take over you. The moment you let that's why they say, oh shit, I let my emotions get the best of me. And some people may be afraid of something so much that they just freeze or contract. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the way you want to go. You utilize the fear. You could transmute it or you could devour it. One of the two. But this game is a game of emotions. And if you're an emotional person, that's something you need to work on. Because that's going to hinder your game over here. You got a lot of things, obstacles, people. It's all you. And what you do with the people in your immediate world and how they're reflecting back to you, realize that's something that's really just coming from within. Okay? You're judging somebody, and it doesn't have to be a direct reflection. It could be something in a similar aspect, but it's not a direct reflection. It is up to you to sit back and reflect on what it is that you're projecting out that's triggering you. See, all these triggers should literally be a blessing in disguise, if anything. So there's a lot of things out here that we learn from, okay? But don't memorize things, because again, I mentioned in my previous video, we're taught as young kids to memorize. And one thing that people are so concerned with is regurgitated information and all that. Just realize this, man. There's no information out here that's not regurgitated, okay? But there's some sources of information that can come from a divine space, okay? But it is up to the individual watching to know if it is coming from a divine space or if it's coming from a regurgitated information, and if they truly have that eye of the tiger. See what I'm saying? I watched the fight between Tyron Woodley and Gilbert Burns in the UFC. When you see Tyron Woodley's face, you can see that he has a lot of doubt when he's doing these face-offs. He had that doubt when he was fighting Darren Till. Yeah, he knocked out Darren Till. But because Darren Till fell for that signature overhand right that he has, that he ended up getting caught and he got knocked out in. But then when he fought Kamaru Usman, I mean, he had that same look. You could just tell in the eyes if there's something there or not. If he has that eye of the tiger. If you're present, then you're home. You're in your present moment, you're home. But if you are in a face-off with another fighter, okay, in the stare down, which is the build-up to that fight, all the people, okay, put you under that pressure, you go outside of yourself because of the anxiety. You leave your home, okay? But when you're secured in your home and your foundation is strong, can nothing break you. You get what I'm saying? Nothing can break your house, your foundation, which is this beautiful vessel. Okay? You upgrade yourself first, and then you can utilize any energy you want. See, there's people who are sharks. There's people who are whales. There's people who are different types of, any distinction of animal that you can possibly think of. That's why you see the people in Wall Street, they're considered sharks, right? It's an energy. All right? What do sharks do? Right? So these people in Wall Street are like sharks, but they're utilized, you see, and they have to prime themselves first and they got to be programmed with that energy. There's people who are different types of characters, you know what I'm saying? But you can embody any character you want here. You can be a successful businessman, but see that you're taught to go out and do something, and you're taught by, let's say, a financial guru, the methods and the process on how to do it, but the majority are never successful. But why is that? Because the majority are taught the methods that the sharks know, but the person is really not even a shark. So you could learn everything that shark character knows, but you'll never be successful unless you embody that shark character first. See, it's like a lot of people want to learn a lot of things, but they're not programmed to wanting to learn things first. So they become lazy and they're not motivated. But why do you hear the word motivated? If you're not motivated, that means you're not embodying the energy that's moving you. That's the motivation. You know what I'm saying? So when you bring that energy in, but you got to be at a certain frequency. Because if you're not at a frequency match, then you're not an equal. You may not be able to handle that kind of energy, and it's too big for you. So you can never embody it. So what do? You have to upgrade yourself first. Why do these financial gurus always talking about, their morning routines? They may get in a cold shower, they meditate, but why? Look, they're priming their body to turn their body into a different type of machine than somebody who would get up a little bit later. They're real comfortable. Do you notice how they get up and they put themselves from the get-go in an uncomfortable position? But why? Because their body, see, people think that the cold showers is basically just for, I'm spiritual and I'm just becoming, but no, it's about energy use. You upgrade your body. What happens when you go in a cold shower? The shower hits you, you're forced to breathe a certain way that you don't breathe unless you get that cold shower and you don't notice. You go, you don't notice that you do that as soon as you get in a cold shower. Okay. And when something is hot, what do? You go, you let out the death. You get what I'm saying? So that's why you got hydrotherapy, the hot and cold. You put your body through extreme conditions. I don't know if you've ever meditated, but you'll notice you get these surges of energy that if your body is not primed for it, you won't be able to handle it. You'll feel like you're about to pass out and you just kind of wake yourself up from it. You get what I'm saying? And it is important to know what energies are in your presence, but it's not for you to worry. You'll know once you know yourself, because you'll know what frequency and vibration you're in. And if you know what frequency and vibration you are in, then you know that you are only if you know you're in a high vibration and a high frequency, then you know that whatever energies are in your presence can only be something that will serve you. But you also have to know what kind of person are you, knowing your flaws. If you know you're somebody that likes to take advantage, likes to, cheat, and likes to manipulate in the wrong way, in a selfish way, okay, then know that you are surrounded by energies of that kind, because you are pushing that out and is only what can be allowed in. See, when you meditate, okay, you need to be very aware and at the same time, it's hard to explain from that aspect, but just knowing yourself first, you can get to know what energies are available to you. Okay? See, some people, things may not be a direct reflection. Some people may be worried about their lady cheating on them, let's say, right? But what kind of person are you? You get what I'm saying? Do you set yourself up for a situation like that? And it may not be a direct thing. You know what I'm saying? It may not be a direct thing. It may not be where you go out and cheat and you think that same exact thing is going to happen. No, it could be another way. It could be you misusing your energies in different ways that isn't favoring you, putting out too much energy and not, you're misusing your power. Okay? Let's say orgasms. If you're masturbating, you get what I'm saying? That leaves the door open for you to be cheated on. People think, it's because I couldn't satisfy my lady, but it may be not that. It may be that you are misusing your energy. And behind her back, you do this. So in turn, that reflection might be coming in the way where she might go out and cheat on you. It doesn't never have to be a direct reflection. And that's just an example. Notice how you use your energies, and you'll notice what things are potentially prone to happen to you. These experiences that you experience, and then let's say if your lady was to cheat on you, now you're a victim. How could she do this? You know what I'm saying? I've been there for you. You know what I'm saying? But it's not that. You just did something that left the doors open for that to happen. Because it was just a mirror. And sometimes you have to just sit back and look at things like that. So, you know, like I said, that's just an example. It's not going to be a direct mirror. Because a lot of people think that it's a direct mirror. And it's not a direct mirror. See, use your energies wisely. Maintain neutrality. Okay? And not be attached to so many things that isn't serving you. You know what I'm saying? Because, see, I'm doing the garden. And in my present moment, it's serving me. In my present moment. Okay? Because as I'm gardening, just looking at the soil, looking at how the bugs are, you know, how the ecosystem is working, how the plants grow, how they react to their environment, all that is presenting itself a level of information that I would have never accessed unless I was doing something like that, because I'm enjoying it so much. But the moment I'm not in my garden, okay, and you have to realize when things are coming from an ego space. Now if your garden starts to look good, now you step back and you start to look at the garden and you start to get compliments on the garden. And people say, man, your garden looks good. Now you start to look at it as a vanity thing. You get what I'm saying? But that's where you really have to keep your balance and not get lost into what is going, because that's how you become attached to what you're doing. You hear what I'm saying? I hope I made sense in this video. But if you guys have any questions, of course, because I did cover a lot of different things here, and I gotta go back into the topic of the eye of the tiger, and I'm gonna do another video on that, so stay tuned.